In examining the intricate dynamics of societal stability, the interplay between loss of public trust in institutions, economic despair, and political animosity and vengefulness emerges as a critical triad. These three elements are deeply interconnected, each influencing and amplifying the others in complex ways. Loss of public trust in institutions can erode the foundation of social cohesion, leading to economic despair as confidence in governance, financial systems, and public policies wanes. Economic hardship, in turn, fuels political animosity and vengefulness as populations seek to hold accountable those perceived to be responsible for their plight. This political hostility further undermines public trust, creating a vicious cycle that can destabilize nations and lead to significant social upheaval. By exploring historical examples, we can gain insights into how these forces interact and identify potential strategies to mitigate their adverse effects, fostering more resilient and equitable societies. During the Weimar Republic and post-World War I Germany, the country faced significant challenges that exemplified the coexistence and equilibrium of loss of public trust in institutions, economic despair, and political animosity. The Treaty of Versailles imposed harsh reparations, leading to economic despair marked by hyperinflation and unemployment. This economic hardship eroded public trust in the Weimar government, which was perceived as weak and incapable of addressing the nation's problems. The resulting political animosity manifested in violent clashes between extremist factions like the Nazis and communists, further undermining institutional trust. The interplay of these factors created a vicious cycle. Economic despair fueled political extremism and animosity, which in turn further eroded public trust in democratic institutions, leading to the eventual collapse of the Weimar Republic and the rise of the Nazi regime. In the United States during the Great Depression, spanning from 1929 to 1939, economic despair reinforced political animosity and vengefulness, which further eroded public trust in institutions. The stock market crash of 1929 led to widespread economic hardship, with unemployment rates soaring and banks failing. This economic despair undermined public confidence in the government and financial institutions, leading to political animosity towards those perceived as responsible for the crisis, including bankers and politicians. President Hoover's administration faced harsh criticism, and the public's loss of trust paved the way for Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal. The New Deal aimed to restore economic stability and rebuild trust through government intervention, demonstrating a feedback loop where political changes attempted to break the cycle of despair and distrust. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 illustrates the causal relationship between loss of public trust, economic despair, and political animosity, as well as the potential for reversion. By the late 1980s, widespread corruption and inefficiency within the Soviet government led to a significant loss of public trust. This, coupled with economic stagnation and shortages, created profound economic despair. The situation was exacerbated by political animosity, both among the general population and within the Communist Party, leading to increased demands for reform and openness. The attempted coup in August 1991 by hardline communists only intensified political tensions and distrust. The eventual dissolution of the Soviet Union was a reversion to multiple independent states, each attempting to address the intertwined issues of public trust, economic stability, and political harmony in the post-Soviet era. The Arab Spring, beginning in 2010, is a modern example of the non-linear and retrospective dynamics among loss of public trust in institutions, economic despair, and political animosity. In Tunisia, Mohamed Bouazizi's self-immolation in protest of economic conditions and government corruption sparked widespread demonstrations. The loss of public trust in the government was non-linear. It led not only to political animosity but also to a broader regional movement. Economic despair in various countries fueled this animosity, leading to the overthrow of several regimes. Retrospectively, the outcomes varied. Some countries, like Tunisia, managed to establish more democratic governance structures, potentially restoring some public trust, while others, like Syria, descended into prolonged conflict, demonstrating the complex, non-linear repercussions of these interrelated factors. The Greek financial crisis of the late 2000s demonstrates the conjoined and bottlenecked relationships between loss of public trust, economic despair, and political animosity. Severe austerity measures imposed by international creditors led to widespread economic despair, with soaring unemployment and poverty levels. Public trust in both national and international institutions plummeted, as citizens perceived these entities as ineffective and punitive. Political animosity grew, evidenced by violent protests and the rise of extremist political parties like Golden Dawn. This bottleneck situation meant that economic despair and political animosity were so intertwined that improving one required addressing the other. Efforts to restore economic stability and rebuild public trust were hindered by ongoing political conflicts, showing the complexity of disentangling these elements in crisis situations. By examining these historical examples, we can see how loss of public trust in institutions, economic despair, and political animosity and vengefulness are mutually reinforcing and create cycles that can be difficult to break. Understanding these relationships can help in developing strategies to address and mitigate such issues in contemporary contexts.